Hi, my name is Perla and I'm going to present my final project of Anglo. Del Toro's Frankenstein and Mary Shelley's original novel. Guillermo del Toro's versions of Frankenstein takes the main ideas from Mary Shelley's original novel, but changes them in order to show a more emotional and modern view of the story. Shelley's novels focuses on the dangers of uncontrolled ambitions and the responsibility a creator has toward his creation. Del Toro skips those ideas, but he presents the creature in a handled more human way and gives Victor more emotional depth than in the book. While both versions explore loneliness, rejection, and the meaning of being human, Del Toro's use visual details and a more compassionate tone to make the audience feel closer to the creature. Therefore, Del Toro's adaptations differ from Shelley's work through his portrayal of the creature, his treatment of Victor, and his stronger emphasis on empathy. Del Toro changed the way the creature is presented, even though he keeps the basic idea of an abandoned being who suffers. In Mary Shelley's novel, the creature learns languages, observes peoples, and reflects on the world around him. He is intelligent and can express deep feelings in words, which show that he was not born a monster. Shelley's makes it clear that society rejections transform him. However, Del Toro focuses more on the creature emotion through long speech. The creature in the film looks sad, helpless, and warm, which invite the audience to sympathize with him immediately. Visual moments like when he reaches toward a small light or tries to understand his surrounding highlight his innocence. These changes make the creature seem more vulnerable than fleeting, which is different from Shelley's more complex and conflict character. Del Toro's portray Victor Frankenstein in a softer way compared to the novel. In Shelley's original, Victor is ambitious, irresponsible, and afraid to face the consequence of his own actions. Shelley's used Victor to warn readers about the dangers of selfishness and scientific pride. Del Toro keeps Victor guilty, but he adds emotional elements that make Victor's trauma, fear, and regret through scenes, flashbacks, and symbolic images. Instead of looking like a heartless creature, he appears confused and emotionally broken. This reduces some of the moral blame that Shelley placed on him. Because the novel presents Victor as fully responsible for the tragedy, Del Toro's change shifts the focus from a moral warning to a more emotional story about loss and fear. In my personal opinion, the movie is good, but not what I expect. The creature looked very human. I thought it should be more terrifying. It was expecting something that would frighten me. This new Frankenstein, while impressive, looked more like an anatomy experiment focus. A rejected and lost monster abandoned by its creator is like a baby discovering the world. Clearly, the monster is Victor for creating and abandoning. I like that they both told their side of the story. The short story analysis, The Selfish Hymn by Oscar Wilde. The characters and characterizations are the hymns, the main characters, dynamic characters. He changes in three times. At the beginning, he is selfish, rude, and doesn't want to share his garden. He kicks the children off and builds a wall. Shames when he sees the small boy crying because he cannot climb the tree. The hymn's hair softens, and in the end, he becomes kind, loving, and generous. He lets the children play forever in his garden. The other characters are the children supporting characters' role. They represent innocence, joy, and goodness. Their presence makes the garden beautiful and full of life. The little boy, symbolic character, he appears twice, once as a small child and at the end as a Christ-like figure. He teaches him kindness and later takes him to paradise. The setting, the place and time. In the place, the hymn's beautiful garden, full of trees, flowers, and birds. The time, no specific day, but it feels like a classic fairy tale time. The conflict in this story, the hymn versus his own selfishness. He does not want to share his garden, and because of this, his garden stays in winter while the rest of the world has spring. Resignation. The hymn expelled the children. He built a high wall to keep them out. Winter stayed forever in his garden. He hears a bird singing and discovers a small child trying to climb a tree. The climax in the story is the moment when the hymn's heart changes. He sees the little boy crying, realizes he has been selfish, knocked down the wall, and invite all children back to the garden. The pollinations, spring return to the garden. The hymn becomes friendly and plays with the children every day. However, the little boy disappears. The resolutions. The little boy returns at the end with wounds on his hands and feet. He tells the hymn that they are the wounds of love. The boy invites the hymn to paradise. The hymn dies happily the next day. Theme: selfishness leads to loneliness and unhappiness. Love and kindness bring joy, beauty, and redemption. Sharing opens the heart. Tone: Anglo, magical, and moral. Mood: start cold and sad, ends warm, peaceful, and loving. The Plot of the Black Cat by Allan Poe. The story is told by a man who is in prison waiting to be executed. He decides to confess the terrible events that led him there. At the beginning, he explained that he used to be a kind, humble person who loved animals. He and his wife have many pets, and his favorite was a large black cat named Pluto. Over time, however, the narrator becomes violent and unstable because of alcohol abuse. His personality changes and he starts mistreating the animals he once loved. One night, in a fit of rage, he harmed Pluto by cutting out one of the cat's eyes. Later, when Pluto continues to avoid him, the narrator becomes even angrier and eventually kills the cat by hanging him from a tree. Soon after, his house mysteriously burned down. On the only surviving wall appears the images of a cat with a rope around its neck. This frightens the narrator. Sometimes later, he finds another black cat very similar to Pluto, but with a wild patch on its chest. He takes it home but grows to hate it because it reminds him of the cat he killed. The white patch eventually forms the shape of a gallows which terrifies him even more. One day, in the cellar, the narrator tries to kill the second cat, but his wife stops him. In a sudden burst of anger, he kills his wife instead by striking her with an axe. To hide the crime, he walls her body inside the cellar. When the police come to investigate it, they find nothing at first. Feeling confident, the narrator taps on the wall where his wife is hidden. At that moment, a loud cry comes from inside the wall. The police break it open and discover the wife's body and the black cat sitting on her head. Revealing the truth, the narrator is arrested and sentenced to death. The subsong with the song Imagine by John Lennon. The speaker is John Lennon. The singer-songwriter is the speaker, using his own voice to express his dream of a peaceful world. The occasion written during a time of war, Vietnam War, and a strong desire for peace and unity. The audience, people around the world who want change, especially young listeners who believe in peace. The purpose is to inspire people to imagine a world without divisions, conflict, or hatred. He wants listeners to reflect on unity and choose peace. The subjects a vision of a world without borders, religions, or possessions, where humanity lives together in harmony. The tone is hopeful, dream, peaceful, and idealistic. And the poems, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The speaker, a reflective traveler, a person created by Frost, who is looking back at a past decisions. The occasion, the speaker remembers a moment in life where he had to make a difficult choice, symbolized by two diverging paths in a forest. The audience, anyone thinking about life choice, especially people facing big decisions or reflecting on their past. The purpose is to show that decisions shape our life and that choosing a unit or different path can make a big difference. The suggests life choice and the impact of choosing one direction over another. And the tone is thoughtful, reflective, simply nostalgic.